Hi, my name is Austin Louisgard, and today I'm going to be talking about a character trait called perseverance. What is perseverance? According to Merriam-Webster's dictionary, it is a continued effort to do or achieve something despite difficulties, failure, or opposition. How I kind of like to view things is to continue striving toward a goal or a dream, no matter what obstacles is thrown at an individual. On the right hand side down here in the corner, right, we could see a gentleman here with a pickaxe looking like he's trying to dig for some more money or bags of money. But we see he's turning around and looks sad. Why? Because he gave up. He lost his perseverance. He lost that trait. And when we lose that trait, it's because we lost our faith and our why. When we have a faith and a why, that's what motivates us to get going. But it's what also keeps us going in the long run. We lose motivation over time, and when we lose that motivation, we just have to be persistent. Even though we don't want to do certain things, we get tired, we're in pain, whatever it may be, just because we have that why and faith in everything, it will bring us all together and able to be persistent and persevere through anything to reach our goals. What does it look like on a deeper level? Here we have Jimmy Butler, one of the best NBA players in the game today, right? He's an NBA All-Star. Growing up, he didn't have much. He had no scholarship coming out of high school, which is really tough to make it to the NBA after that. He didn't play for AAU program, which is very crucial nowadays, especially then when AAU was becoming really, really big. And he didn't have that. Those were his roadblocks. So he ended up going to junior college, worked on his game, ended up excelling. Got a Division I offer to Marquette, played for Marquette, and ended up going to the NBA. He kept going. He did not stop whatsoever. Here we have two other examples. We have Michael Jordan, one of the best players to ever play the game, who got cut from his JV team, said he wasn't the best player, wasn't this, wasn't that. So those were his roadblocks, had a lot of talk at him, and he kept going. He kept going and kept going and kept going. Even when he was playing, that's what kind of where the strength conditioning came in. He was he set the tone for that because he needed to get bigger against the bad boys, the Detroit Pistons, and he was persistent to beat them. And look at what he did to do it. Got stronger, faster, more athletic, and he ended up taking care of the Detroit Pistons. Stephen Curry, same thing. One D1 offer. Davison had a lot of talk, had to live up to his dad's name, Del Curry, and it wasn't doing very good. His ankles, everything. And now look at him. One of the best shooters we've probably ever seen in the game, and we'll probably never see a great shooter like that again. Probably not until years down the road, right? He persevered. He had his faith. He had his why, and he kept going to where he is now as one of the best basketball players in the game too. Coaches and perseverance. Coaches need to have this trait. It's a must. Anytime we see any obstacles or roadblocks or things aren't going the right way, we have to fight through it. Because if we don't fight through it, how do we expect our athletes to fight through it? Right? We have a rough season. We're losing games. How are we going to motivate the team? How are we going to get them going? How are we going to help them be persistent to win games and change a season around? Right? That's our job. Or even with just a specific athlete, maybe they're in a funk. How are we going to get them out of that? We have to show them you have to be persistent and transfer this into them, and they will reap rewards. They have to have faith and a why, and remember their why, and that's when great things will happen. And as coaches too, we go through it, especially college coaches in the recruiting process. We have to be persistent in order to get the recruits we want. And even if we don't get certain recruits, we have to keep going. It's on to the next. Be persistent. Keep going, keep going, keep going. And eventually, we will get the team that we want. And we see right here the Cavaliers, right, when they beat the Warriors after a 3-1 lead. The whole program was being persistent. They showed perseverance through that. Statistically, that's almost impossible to do. And they went up and did it because they were being persistent. They had faith, they had a why, and they kept going. Leaders in athletics and being persistent, right? Some of the leaders on the team or other leaders within a program, it's very important. Here we have a clip from Kobe Bryant from the 2010 NBA Finals interview. Basically, what Kobe said was, I didn't know how we were going to win, but I knew we were. So he kept going. He had a bad game. They were down double digits, and he found a way to bring the team back to keep going and win the 2010 NBA Finals. Here's a quote by Bruce Brown from his book, Teaching Character Through Sport. It says, the ability of both teams and individuals to recover quickly from mistakes is one of the keys to success. Players who dwell on mistakes compound them. If your team has committed itself to continuous improvement, they must risk failure. Most games are just a series of mistakes, and it is the team that recovers the quickest from these mistakes that usually wins. Right? We can't stay too low. We have to keep going. Go through or around those roadblocks and just keep going forward. Here we have a Bible verse, Galatians 6:9. It says, and let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up. God will bless us if we do not give up on ourselves or those around us. Here we have the movie 300, one of the great movies, and this movie shows a lot of perseverance in there. They took 300 Spartans to go face an enormous Persian army. In the right mind, that's a roadblock by itself right there. But because of that Spartan pride and what they had their faith, they had their why. They went going. They still went there because of the pride that they had, especially for Greece. And along the way, as they're trekking to Thermopylae, right, they end up getting 7,000 volunteers. Still wasn't enough to compare to the vast Persian army. But the reason why they went there is because of how narrow everything was, and they didn't have to fight all of the Persians at once. So Leonidas did his homework. He did his homework. He kept persisting. How are we going to beat them? And then he ended up holding them off and protecting everybody. Right? That's a great leader, and that's showing great perseverance from him. Here's some other quotes from Michael Jordan. Obstacles don't have to stop you if you run into a wall. Don't turn around and give up. Figure out how to climb it, go through it, or work around it. Or from the famous coach John Wooden. Stay the course. When thwarted, try again. Harder, smarter. Persevere relentlessly. Got to keep going. Here we have a clip from Coach Carter, Timo Cruz. And basically, Timo Cruz got kicked off of the team for being, I guess, troubled kid, from Richmond. And he got kicked off the team, was selling drugs, doing things he shouldn't have been doing, realized he didn't want that life. So there's his roadblock. He's like, I need something better for myself. I need something better. That was his obstacle. How do I get better? And what he ended up doing was begging the coach to come back. The coach gave him an impossible task to get completed, and he did his best, almost completed it. But because of his perseverance, being persistent, it gained respect from the people on the outside. So when we persevere through hard times, people around us are going to see it, and they're going to want to join in. They're going to join in and help you out and help for the greater cause. In the end, challenges will always present themselves, and we always have to stay persistent and persevere. And we must always have faith and a why to power through these challenges. Thank you for listening to this presentation on perseverance.